Going back to when you started out, what was the initial sort of vision for the business? I mean, did you have a plan and did you think, right, in 1 year we want to be here, 2 years we want to be there, or did you sort of suck it and see? And
I don't know whether there was necessarily a plan, and again, these are all the things that you can perhaps think about after the event, right? I don't know whether there was necessarily a strategic plan of we want this much turnover and this much and profit, and I think what Helly's vision was in the early days is that she wanted to create an environment for working mums, being a working mum herself, that offered a culture of being flexible around the demands of being a parent. That was our internal.
That's good. That's nice.
Culture. If you were a good recruiter, but you had kids, it's a testing job, recruitment. You get rejection a lot. You probably get phoned up all the time. Do you need any IT people, or do you need this, or do you need that? I think even coming in here, one of the team said, "Oh, make sure you mention about." So it's a highly competitive market in Northampton or in the county, and so Helly wanted to make sure that if you were a good recruiter that was able to churn the numbers. Because ultimately you need to contribute, right? It can't just be a nice place to work. Then we'll be flexible and make sure you're going to those important milestone moments with your family, whether it be first day of school, kids panto, sports day. The other businesses that we've perhaps worked for in the past, or that even maybe exist now, aren't necessarily that flexible with. The joy, I think that's another thing that's perhaps come out of COVID is, and I've interviewed a couple of people actually recently who don't experience this, but it's really hard when you've got a young family and then they're sick. If we've got the ability to work from home, then why can't we try and marry those two things together from time to time when it suits or when it's possible, right? It's not always possible, we know that. You can't be on Zoom calls and have a screaming kid on your lap that's full of snot and, it might be ill.
I have had those.
Yeah.
Especially over the last 3 years.
Yeah. But it happens, right?
Yeah.
So we've got to be understanding around that, especially if we want to get the best out of people and we want to retain good talent. So I think there's a huge education that's gone into that since COVID for businesses. We're certainly seeing a big thing about engagement and onboarding being really crucial now and like I say, and businesses are starting to step away from that full remote working to it now being more hybrid and flexible. But how can we be expectant of people in our team to work until 6-7 o'clock at night to make sure they're getting their numbers if we're not able to be the flexible when they need to do the school run at 9 o'clock, and it might mean they're in at 9:30.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah. So that was the initial vision for Helly when she set it up, that she wanted to create that friendly space and good team environment that allowed you to be a mum or a dad and a good recruiter.
So really your values came out of all of that, I suppose. The vision that Helly had around parents with young children and things like that, and then that's your culture's come out of that as well, and it's all stemmed from that.
Yeah, and obviously the early vision has kind of evolved a bit since, just because again when you get to scale and you start to think and you become a bigger business, some of those bits have to be diluted a little bit, and there has to be policies and processes, and that's when HR get involved and
don't talk to me about HR.
make things a little bit more complicated. We don't get it right all the time, but we do our best to try and accommodate where we can. And I think, like we said, it's a bit of give and take. Yes, you can have the morning off, of course, to go to Panto, but you need to make the hours up at a different point of the day or the week or whatever it might need to be done. It's very much give and take as where we can fit it.
Did you ever envisage getting up to 35, 40, 45 employees when you started out?
I don't like, again, I think me and Haley clash on this a few times, because I think I would like to get it to a slightly... We've got slightly different models to where I think what we want it to be or what the end goal might look like. I think we both agree on the end goal, which is effective and exit that we can both be satisfied with. Yeah. But how the mechanism of how we get there sometimes differs. Yeah. And whether it be we grow organically or whether we acquire another business or we partner and merge, one of the things that we've talked about the last couple of years is you get to that, we talked a bit about where organic, you get to a certain bit where organic then becomes tougher. So you think about mergers and acquisitions and stuff, but no one ever thinks about the merger bit. They always think about acquisitions.
Acquisition.